continue. Yes, we were looking at deconstruction in the previous video, and deconstructionist approach believes in not going with the hegemonical or the popular interpretation of the text, but in reading against the grain. So it believes in swimming against the current or the tide because it kind of challenges the center or the established meaning of any text because it believes that no text, no literary body, or no literary work, or no work of art for that matter, can have only one particular meaning or one definite meaning because meaning is constructed through language. And the person who is creating this meaning, that is the author of the text, is also a product of culture, a product of language, and a product of a lot of influences, of intersections of which could be social, cultural, political, economic, historical, religious in nature. And therefore, when a reader approaches a particular text, every reader is going to come with their own understanding and experience, and they are going to attribute this understanding in decoding the text. So, meaning in this case is constantly deferred. So Derrida, who proposed the philosophy of deconstruction, talks about deference of meaning. Deference meaning postponement. So meaning is constantly postponed. You push meaning because you can never be sure that this is what it really means. So in this case, then the reader and not the author becomes important. And in fact, you have people like Roland Barthes, who claimed in his work, The Death of the Author, that the author is dead. In fact, there is no author, and it is the reader who has to now uh, get involved in the meaning making process. So there are as many texts as there are readers. So texts in that sense are not unified and whole, but fragmented and centerless. Now let's look at feminist criticism. Feminist criticism is a result of the women's movement, which started with women of the Western world agitating for the right to vote. Right? And then, of course, from activism, it entered the academic and the intellectual space, and it wanted to create a space for women's writing because let's remember that women's writing was not taken seriously at all, even till the end of the 19th century. So it aims to change the cultural mindsets of men and women, and this mindset is informed by a patriarchal sensibility, which in Hindi we call as Purush. Satta, Pitra Satta, or Purush Pradhan. So it aims at changing or contesting this conditioning of men and women, and it looks at constructing a new canon for women's writing. Because if we look at traditional criticism or the works that traditional criticism has considered, it has always given importance and visibility to men writers. There are hardly any women writers who are a part of the canon, who are a part of the list of must read writers. So, some important critics of who are feminist critics would be some important names are Virginia Woolf, Elaine Showalter, Simone de Beauvoir, Kate Millett, and there is no one kind of feminism. In fact, there are various kinds of feminism, some of them being liberal feminism, Marxist feminism, cultural feminism, radical feminism, psychoanalytical feminism, queer feminism, and third world feminism.